Jack Della Maddalena, Shavkat Rakhmonov, and Blahal Mohammed are said to be the three biggest threats and the only three current threats to Islam. That is from Coach Khabib. Coach Khabib even went a step further. He was running through the roster. He said that Ian Gary is not a legitimate threat, and neither is Sean Brady. All right, now the statement is complete. I want you to look at that and what do you think? Because they're all very hard matches, but threats, right? Threat is a very specific word. I believe that Blahal and Islam know who would win that match. I mean, I believe that there were workouts, and I seem to remember when Blahal was champion, there was a statement being made by Islam out of respect to that bond that was formed that said he would not fight Blahal. I seem to remember when Blahal was getting ready to fight Jack, Islam wanted to move up to 170, but he and Khabib both said, we're going to wait before we officially make that statement, and we're going to see what happens with Blahal versus Jack, which I believe we all interpreted to mean if Jack wins, I'll slide up. If Blahal doesn't, I'm going to stay here because we formed a relationship. All right. Sean Brady being dismissed. My biggest thought of everything that was said, I might have had the strongest opinion on that. Because the other statement is that Shavkat's a hard fight. Well, Shavkat takes everybody down, and he's never been taken down, and he's got a better record than Islam. And yes, Shavkat versus Islam is very interesting, but he went into the interesting pile. It was that Brady didn't. And I don't know what Brady needs to do. Now, there's a strong belief amongst the insiders that Brady versus Gary is next, and that the complete resistance to Gary versus Brady is Gary. So I don't want to do that fight. And I would get that. I think 9 out of 10 times in my long career, it's been 100% of the time. If somebody says that they don't want to do a fight that the company wants to do, it makes the veins in my neck pop out and my head explodes. I tend to get that one. Gary's done some heavy lifting. His performance with Rakhmonov, just for example, he did some real heavy lifting. Gary getting there with Carlos Pratas, and then all of us learning just how damn good Carlos Pratas is, it helps to shine Gary up a little bit more. And I don't know that Gary can get this big a bounce off of Brady as Brady could get off of Gary. And a lot of times that's what it comes down to. Guys will word this in a number of different ways. But it comes down to, I am a bigger star than you. You are just as good of a fighter as me. You might be a better fighter than me, but I am a bigger star than you. So I am expected to beat you, no matter how great you and I quietly know that you are. My name is bigger, hard fight. You come in, grab that. I mean, yeah, obviously you would want this match, but can you see why I won it? And that one piece of psychology is enough to not get a match done. That one piece, that when we go out and we do the same thing, you stand more to gain than me. And if you're counting your partner's money, you don't have a partner. It's one of those things. And UFC has gone through some waves. They had a real specific way of doing it at one point where you could turn down a fight, but you could only turn down the first fight that you get offered. When they call you the second time to tell you who the opponent is, it won't be the same guy that they already offered you, but whoever it is, that's now the fight. And that was a policy for a meaningful amount of time. Gary generally does a very good job with the media. Gary has taken himself out of the media. And I do not know why, but it has been calculated. Gary has gone quiet. And when you go quiet, the biggest problem that you face is that you're now going to be told who to fight, as opposed to if you're out in the media and you're talking, you will find a way. You will find a way to get whatever conversation or whatever topic, you will build a bridge between that question to get you what you want to talk about, which is who you want to fight next. And you'll call it out, and you'll state all the reasons, and that guy's going to respond in some regard, and then you go back and you do that. By the time you do that 3 times, you've got the fight. It's quite a simplistic formula, but not very many guys do it. Gary does. Gary's one of the guys that's done a pretty good job of letting us know where he wants to go, and letting us know where to go will avoid the inevitable of having to tell you where he doesn't want to go. Right? The whole I want to fight this guy is a clouded effort to never have to say, I don't want to fight this group of guys. Fair game. It's the way it's done. I'm just sharing for you. It's not being done that way. Gary is a much bigger star than Brady. Gary has done more favors. If one of these guys is going to have a meltdown, right? Whatever the expression, but somebody's got to blink. If it's one of those 2 guys and you're the company, you're going to roll with Gary, but not once the organization makes its mind up. All right? There's all sorts of time and rules to play. But then there comes a time where the organization has made a decision, not to mention they have legal contracts that they need to execute, right? Eventually the calendar runs out and you got to start putting people together. And I don't know if we're there or not. I just know a strong belief behind the scenes is that Gary and Brady has been offered many times. It is Gary that's held that up. And a strong belief behind the scenes is regardless of Gary holding it up, that is the direction that they're going. So when Khabib comes out, and Khabib would be armed with the same information as I am, when he comes out and very specifically he puts 3 guys into a certain pile, one of them in Blahal, who's very good, but who he happens to like, whose name he just might want to mention. And it's not as though he only mentioned guys he liked. He's tight with Kamaru Usman. He didn't bring his name up. I think Kamaru might be the true rightful number 1 contender. So it wasn't just a popularity list. But he did mention Blahal, and he did mention Shavkat, and of course he gave champion Jack Del Maddalena a little bit of rub. But then he isolated 2 guys, and that felt to me tactical. Took these 2 guys, and whatever bucket he sets them in, right? It doesn't matter if it's the one on the left or the one on the right. Whatever bucket he sets them in, he set them together. And I think that was a psychological play by Khabib. And it also makes me think that all of these rumors that I'm hearing that we're going to have Brady versus Gary announced pretty soon, it makes me believe that at a minimum Khabib has heard those same rumors, and Khabib just did his part to help promote that fight.